I started singing when I was in my early teens, around 13 or so. And I'd actually sang a little bit before then, but I got into this group, sang with my cousin Larry, and actually my uncle Arthur and my uncle Vance. And ultimately we became the first round of soft tones. I made the decision to sing because I noticed that singers and sports people got women. I couldn't play sports. And coming from a musical background, a musical family, having uncles that sing, especially on my mother's side of the family, just very talented, musically gifted people. It was kind of a natural thing to be able to do it. We were greatly inspired as I got older by the Temptations. And basically I sang to get girls. It was a cool thing. It was easier than all the other stuff I saw people go through to at least get them to talk to you.
I was inspired by falsetto singers such as Eddie Kendricks, the lead singer Russell Tompkins of the Stylistics, the Delphonics, then Philip Bailey of Earth, Wind & Fire. First thing I can remember is being at my aunt's house at a picnic, and they stood me up on the back porch or a picnic bench or somewhere. I was about 4 years old, and they had me singing Lloyd Price's Personality.
Funny thing is, I got my first guitar when I was 18 and joined a band that same year. I think I paid about $20 or $25 for it. I didn't have a case for it. I didn't even have a car, but I did have a Honda 350. And I used to actually strap the guitar on and then get on the motorcycle, and that's how I got to band practice. And that was kind of a funny little story around Clinton, Maryland, which is where I lived. Big old redneck? Yeah, that's me. So it just kept going from there.
My first professional gig, I was 7 years old. My second grade teacher invited me to sing at her wedding, and I got paid. That was my first check. So in addition to the roar of the audience, the money was very inspiring. And I said, I like this. I like getting paid to do something that's fun, you know, that I come to work and...
I love that he sings a lot of falsetto, because as he knows, I'm a huge Curtis Mayfield fan. Curtis Mayfield is up there all the time, and he sounds awesome. And Marvin, a lot of people kind of use it just as an effect now and then, or just to hit a note that's not in their range. He actually uses it as part of his normal singing style, which is a lot of people don't do.
And I knew of the Soft Tones. I had actually had a record from them, and there was that familiar voice. And my brother Andre had hooked us up with this gig. Little did we know we were coming in, and Marvin was there with his other guys, and it was an immediate kismet. We locked. You could see the fire between all of our eyes, and you could see the wheels start to turn. Oh my God, what if we could? And then I even asked him, I took him aside, I said, can I play with you sometime? And it was like, little did I know, Andre and Beth were cooking up the scheme.
I started singing in my early 20s. I didn't have a choice because it's in the blood, I think. My mom, my dad, my grandmother, all my siblings sings, even down to the grandchildren, everybody's singing. Some of my inspirations are Gerald Levert. I love his performance, his stage presence, his stage performance is off the chain. Phyllis Hyman, Gene Carn, of course. And those of you who knew Nathan Heathman is a favorite singer of mine. He's not with us today, but still remember that.
But the real cool thing about Marvin is most vocalists that I've worked with, and Marvin is an exception. He's the exception to the rule. It's a small circle of guys like Al Johnson and people that I've worked with. Marvin is exceptional because he has this great voice. But the other thing is Marvin is a vocalist who thinks like a musician. You know, he just, you know, here's a guy that sings with like ballads and this great falsetto, but then he turns around and says, hey, you know what, we want to do music by these fusion cats, and Steely Dan and that kind of thing. So he really thinks outside of the box with respect to a vocalist. And Alan Holdsworth and people like that. And it's like when he started mentioning these names, I was like, wait a minute, dude. You're like way over here, but you're thinking about music that's way over there. And it's like, you know what, that don't go together. You know what I mean? It's like, how do you sing My Dream and sing with the Delphonics, and when you go talk about Alan Holdsworth, and you talk about Sting, you talk about all of these musicians that are playing rock music. So Marvin is over the top because he really has the mindset of a musician. His voice is just his instrument. But I just found that fascinating. Wow, who would have thunk it? You know what I mean? So.